Hey boys and girls, I'm going to give a quick tutorial on how to use a protractor. In the next coming lessons we're going to have to learn how to measure angles, and one of the easiest ways that I usually tell boys and girls is to compare it to a right angle. Now, so here I have two different right angles indicated by these two boxes here in the bottom corners by the vertex. Now, always right angles are going to be indicated by this box saying it is exactly 90 degrees. Now, if it's anything less than 90 degrees, it'd be a smaller angle, somewhere in this range, and we'd call that acute angle. So we have anything less than 90 degrees would be acute, but anything that was more than this line right here, this would be creating a larger angle. So anything more than 90 degrees would then be obtuse, creating all three of our angles. If it's exactly 90 degrees, it'd be a right angle. Less than 90 degrees would be acute, and more would be obtuse. Now, why am I showing you that? I'm showing you that because it's common for fourth graders to make mistakes when writing with their protractor. Now, you can see here there's this tiny little dot right here. What I'm going to use this dot, I kind of use it as a dot for where to put my mark on my vertex. I'm going to try and get that as close as I can to the vertex. Now notice, I'm going to have my camera person zoom in here. Notice how the line is exactly at 90 degrees, but there's two markings on the protractor. If I'm looking at it this way, it says either 80 degrees or 100 degrees. It says 70 or 110, 60, 120, and so on, all the way down to 0 degrees. Now what you have to ask yourself, let's say I put a mark right here. I'm going to make a line from my vertex to that mark right there. Now, looking at this angle, is this angle more or less than 90 degrees? Well, it's going to be less. This would make it an acute angle. Now you have to ask yourself, would it be possible, putting this protractor back on here again, would it be possible that if I put this right on my vertex and it shows at 90 degrees, now looking where I placed that dot, I placed that dot at, it said 50 degrees on top and it said 130 degrees on the bottom. Now, just from looking at this angle, boys and girls, does this look like a 130 degree angle, which would be obtuse, or a 50 degree angle, which would be acute? I would say it's 50. Now, with a little bit more practice, I'm going to leave my writing there, but I'm going to make a little bit more practice. I'm going to start with, I'm going to start just by making a line. Now, there could be some questions where it's asking you, can you make a 125 degree angle? Sure you can. By using this protractor, it's going to always allow you to make whatever angle that you need. Now, again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this little dot right here, right at my vertex. I'm going to choose this point to be my vertex. I'm going to try and keep my line on there as flat as I can. There's also a little line that goes sideways here horizontally, and we want to make sure that line matches up with our bottom line of our angle as well. Now, so if I'm making a 125 degree angle, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to say, well, is it acute or is it obtuse? Because if it was acute, it'd be this side of 90 degrees. If it was obtuse, it'd be on this side of 90 degrees. 125 degrees is obtuse, so I know this is going to make a larger angle. I'm going to have my cameraman zoom in once again. Here we can see it goes from 90 degrees to 100, 110, 120, 130. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count in 5 spaces from 120 to make 125 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to place a little dot right there. Then I'm going to use my protractor that also doubles as a ruler to make a line. Now I've created an obtuse angle. When I make this obtuse angle, it should be exactly 125 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then again put this little line on my vertex. Make sure it's nice and straight. Now I'm going to have my cameraman zoom in one more time. You can see that my line is directly right in between 120 and 130 degrees. Pretty close to being 125. Now it is possible that your lines might be a degree off, but when you're using a marker it might be a little bit thicker. Using pencil at times can be even easier because it makes a more direct and thin line that can be easier to read your protractor. We're going to be looking to use interactive protractors online and also some games to learn a little bit more, but that was just a quick tutorial on how to use a protractor.